Hello, everyone, and welcome to the current movie review. Wow, I stumbled there. I'm Sean.
I'm Tennille.
And we just got back from watching Wreck-It Ralph. Not 2. Don't worry. If you want the Wreck-It Ralph 2 review, you're in the right spot. We're going to talk about...
Go to this timestamp if you just want to hear our thoughts on Wreck-It Ralph 2. We're going to talk about Wreck-It Ralph 1 first, though. We just rewatched it. It is Sunday, so we're just preparing ourselves for Wreck-It Ralph 2 later this week.
Yes. So, this should be pretty brief. You can see by the timestamp how long we talk about this. Mm-hmm. If you don't want it, go here.
Yeah.
And for everybody else that decided to stick around...
let's talk about Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to talk about it super long, but this is the second time I've watched this movie.
Yeah, you mentioned that before we watched this, and I was like, what?
I saw it once in theaters,
Uh-huh.
and then I didn't see it again.
Ah.
I really enjoyed it the first time, and I'll say I really enjoyed it the second time, too.
You don't rewatch movies very often.
No, I'm not a habitual watcher.
Mm-hmm. I came from a family that loved watching movies, so rewatching films was just something you did. And which is why I love audio commentary, because it was a new way to watch a familiar film.
Okay. No, more often than not, I'm one and done. I watch it once and I'm good. I've got an excellent memory. I will remember that for years. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, if you asked me to recount the plot of a movie I saw once 3 years ago, I could probably do a gosh darn good job and give you random snippets that I remembered about the film. But that's neither here nor there. That's kind of how I am with most things. It's like, I don't know, I did it once, I'm good. Yeah. I enjoyed the experience. I'll probably watch it again sometime, but I'm not like, oh, I have to get this on DVD right away so I can watch it again. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
You want to talk about Wreck-It Ralph now?
Yeah, I just wanted to... I don't know, I felt like that was something interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. He's the bad guy of a Mario-esque game. Yeah. A Mario clone.
Yeah. We're assuming that you've seen the film, so we're not going to go into any kind of plot summary.
No.
Especially if you're here for the Wreck-It Ralph 2 review.
Yeah. He's unhappy with his life, screws everything up,
Sean,
makes
I just
a friend.
said we're not going to go into the summary.
Saves the day.
I just want to say I love this movie. I think it's one of Disney's best of this new era of films. This new era of films being everything Princess and the Frog after, which I think is how most people are defining this era so far.
So, like, the beginnings are Princess and the Frog... Winnie the Pooh.
Well, wait. Okay. It'd be Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Winnie the Pooh, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and then Moana. I don't think I'm leaving anything out.
If we are, oops.
Yeah. I'm just going off of memory, guys, so, you know.
That being said, you have a very good memory for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely one of their best out of this new selection. And it's not like those other movies are bad or anything.
No. It's a hard... This has been one of the best Disney eras in a long time. Like, I'd say they're pumping out better movies at a more consistent rate than even the Disney Renaissance.
Shocking surprise.
That might be blasphemous to say, but...
Oh, man. I love the aesthetic of this movie.
The attention to detail is phenomenal. I love the fact that, like, all the different game worlds have these different art styles, even down to, like, the effects animation, like the pixel mud that'll fall off of Ralph.
Because they're from a very pixelated
game. Yeah.
And then they go to Hero's Duty, which is very much so, like...
You know, this gritty first-person shooter.
With, like, super, like... The rendering and stuff.
And I love all these varied character designs interacting with each other.
And it doesn't feel wrong.
No.
Because very often... you might know this, but we like to harp on art direction. Mm-hmm. But the art
direction in this film is, like, flawless.
It's cohesive. It works so well.
It's really good. I love this film. I love the story. I think it's so well constructed, and it's easily, for me, the best twist villain that's been pulled off in any of these recent twist villain stories.
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think of other recent movies, like Coco had a twist villain.
Which, like, it works, but it's not great. Moana's twist villain is subtle. I like the twist villain of Moana. That one works, but, like, it doesn't leave an impact for me.
I had another one that felt like Big Hero 6. That was a twist villain, and they're like, that's kind of another kind of dud. That one had plot holes.
Big Hero 6 is a hard one for me, because it's... I like it.
A lot of aspects of it.
I love, like, the characters and stuff, but yeah, it fumbles. Like, the emotion is all there, but it's...
Some of the plot structure itself is a little lacking.
The Frozen twist villain is obviously, like...
Oh my god, who could have seen it coming?
Well...
Or also, it's like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing now. Because that was like one of the first ones, right? Because Tangled doesn't have a twist villain. No. Winnie the Pooh doesn't, and Princess and the Frog doesn't, so...
Yeah. Frozen was like the big first twist villain. Well, no,
Big Hero 6 was before, wasn't it?
No.
No? Okay.
This had the first big twist villain.
And,
and it worked really well, but that's for Disney.
Set up well.
That's for Disney.
Yeah.
Pixar has been kind of doing these twist villains for a while, like in Up and WALL-E.
And both Toy Story 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. Oh no, the twist villain is the same character in both of them.
Yeah. Pixar's been doing the twist villain thing for a while, so I think that's why Disney started doing it, especially since... Specifically at the time, John Lasseter took over Disney, so a lot of the writing formulas from Pixar were coming over to Disney.
What a twist.
Yeah. But the King Candy Turbo twist is so well done, and it's not one of those that falls apart after you know it or is super obvious after you know it either.
No, it's like it still works, because like rewatching this movie knowing the twist villain is like, they set this up really well. Like, this is just like a scary concept in this universe of going turbo, and then having the villain be turbo works so well. I just love how they set that up.
Yeah, I think it's one that even if you went into the movie knowing what the twist was, it would still be good, because it's just very...
It's solid writing.
It's not... Yeah, the writing isn't like... It isn't... What's the word?
I don't know. Ham-fisted?
The writing doesn't depend on the twist being good.
Oh, yeah.
It's just also an added bonus if you don't know the twist.
Because it's like, no, actually, this character and how he's been portraying himself in this movie...
It's still interesting even if you know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, this still feels like him, even if he is being someone else, technically. Like, that's still him, and he learned from his mistake the last time, so he's being a lot more sneaky about it.
Oh, and he's a terrifying villain, too.
Oh, yeah. And especially once he gets converted into the candy bug. God, that is nightmare fuel.
Yeah. I've always, like... I think they make Vanellope very cute in this film. And her glitching is cute. But glitches in games have always been something that kind of creep me out, to be honest. So then you give that to the bad guy, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like, it's honestly really unnerving. And I also think the scene where you see that Turbo backstory and he's like driving into the other cars is also kind of nightmare fuelish, because I know if I was a gamer playing that would freak me out.
It's like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
Out.
Because, and I don't know if this is just because like I have an active imagination, but I just imagine like what the characters, like, even though we're never introduced to these characters, but I imagine what the characters in that game went through. Like, having him come in and invade their game, and it's just total chaos, and then they get unplugged. Like, that's, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And this movie doesn't sugarcoat what happens when a game gets unplugged. Like,
it's like, no, everyone that's left in there dies.
Yeah, if you don't get out, you're dead.
Yeah. All right. All of these good things. Good. I do have a couple of small complaints.
Yeah.
Which I don't feel like I'm the only one that has these complaints. I feel like some of the product placement that is not video games feels ham-fisted and a little confused as to why it's in a movie about video games. So, specifically the Nesquik and the Laffy Taffy in one scene together was a little, like, really...
Much?
It was a bit much. It's like, you didn't even, like, spread this out. This is in one scene together.
But, like, on the other hand, I understand where the writers are kind of in a corner here, because the Mentos and the Diet Coke are, like, integral parts of the story.
And I wish there was some way that wasn't what the integral part of the plot was.
But, like, how do you write that out?
I don't know.
Like, you'd have to rewrite so many different things. And all the product placement only takes place in Sugar Rush, which just makes me feel like Sugar Rush is more of a product placement type game.
That would make sense. Okay, this is us just thinking of ways to make this work. It's a product placement game. I think that all of the racers
should have been like mascots.
More so mascot characters.
But then where does Vanellope fit into all that?
Well, not like all of them, but just like a few of them, like companies paid money to have a mascot, or just like have one of the racers have like Mentos on the side of their car and it was made out of Mentos or something.
Oh, that would have been like a cute kind of like, I don't know, commentary or visual gag where it's like actual NASCAR drivers.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Like, I think that would have worked very well. And they sort of did that without actually branding anything, because you get like the Reese's Cup Kid and like stuff like that. I feel like they could... I
love the racers' silly candy names. Oh, it's so
Snifferwuppin', Gupperduppin'.
Yeah.
That's not a real one, but it's just like, they all have ludicrous names. But you see what I mean? I feel like they could have very easily implemented that in there and had someone that was based around Laffy Taffy or Nesquik and like had bunny ears on their helmet or something. Like that kind of thing. And that would have made all of the random actual product placement in this movie feel a little more cohesive.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And
yeah,
then there's also like the chanting Oreos. Oreo. They could have done the same thing. Someone has an Oreo car.
Yeah.
It like I feel like that would have just helped make the world feel a little more cohesive, because all these elements are like off in the universe.
More one way or more the other.
Exactly.
Where it's like there's either no product placement or just make a big old product placement game.
Because as it stands, all of that product placement is in the peripheral parts of the game that if you were playing the game, you wouldn't see that stuff. And that's where my issue with product placement comes in. It's like, this is in the game. I'm thinking about this as though it were a real game, and this stuff doesn't exist for actual gameplay purposes or visual gameplay purposes at all. It's not there. There aren't racetracks near the Laffy Taffy, Nesquik sand areas.
Well, in general, like, Sugar Rush seems like it's one hell of a messy game. Like,
There's like so much extra elements.
just left a whole bunch of crap in their game.
There's just so much extra elements in here that never gets used.
And like they even purposefully developed Vanellope to be a glitch character.
Did they?
That's always the vibe I get.
I thought she was a normal princess, but then she got screwed up by being ripped out of the game, and then the reset somehow kept some of her glitchiness, and she's like, I'm okay with this type of thing.
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, like, I think Disney didn't want to have the message of the reset fixed her glitchiness because they very heavily code her glitchiness to be some kind of
minority
disorder.
Yes, yeah.
And to fix it would be
a horrible message.
Yeah, would be a really, really bad message.
Because the message of this movie is you're a good person no matter what kind of person you are. Mm-hmm. So whether you have a disorder or
right. Yeah. like from an executive position, like that's why I think she still has the glitchiness. But I think what they're trying to imply in the story is that they designed her to have this ability, because Vanellope pretty much says that. She's like, I'm the racer who is designed like with the best superpower.
Okay.
I can glitch through stuff, which makes her seem also really broken. But I imagine that it's like a big risk, high reward kind of character.
Power. Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
If we're thinking about this being an actual game.
Yeah.
Come on, Disney. Release an actual Sugar Rush game.
Well, they did release an actual Wreck-It Ralph.
Fix-It Felix game, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I want Sugar Rush.
Sugar Rush would be a lot more programming than
and
Wreck-It Ralph.
Get your now defunct game studio to work on it. Wait, they don't exist anymore?
Oh.
Make a new one or hire Sega to do it. They do good racing games, apparently.
Yeah, from what I've heard.
You even threw Ralph in your Sonic racing game.
Which was amusing.
Just make an actual Sugar Rush.
Anyway, what your other complaint?
Okay, my other complaint is the whole Ralph wrecking Vanellope's car.
It's such a good scene, though.
But it comes out of nowhere, and then they immediately fix it.
What do you mean it comes out of nowhere? Because I've heard people say that before, and I don't think that's true. I think the story is set it up pretty perfectly. I agree that it lasts, like there's
no lasting impact of it.
That it resolves itself very quickly. And that can be a bit of tonal whiplash. Mm-hmm.
It just, I don't know.
Because, I mean, like, this is the part of the story that always gives writers troubles. It's the miscommunication between the good guys. And, like, getting this kind of moment right is always difficult to do in movies. Mm-hmm. It always just feels so played out. We've seen it 100 times, But the heroes are going to get back together.
But the movie would feel lacking
without
if it didn't have some sort of element like this in it.
Exactly. And I think for, this kind of trope, I think it's pulled off really well. Like I said earlier, though, I think what hampers it is the fact that it lasts for, 2 minutes.
Essentially.
Yeah, and then
Ralph was immediately like, well, crap, what I did was a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. And, which is good, because a lot of audiences don't like this. Like, you do this trope, your heroes part, they've got to sit around and mope for a little bit, and you're just like, come on, where's the part where they say sorry to each other? Let's get back to the good stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, thankfully, this movie wraps it up quickly. What I think would help is if there was a little bit more introspection from Ralph's side where, and I honestly don't know how to write this in to the movie, but where Ralph is like, I know what I did was the right thing for her, but it still doesn't feel good.
Yeah. I think that would help.
And obviously, like, that is what he's feeling, but it's never something that's really explored or said out loud. And I think if the movie just gave it a little bit more time for it to be said out loud, all of that might feel a little bit more justified or better.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think that scene's really powerful. It almost always makes me cry. Because it's just, it's so brutal. And it's a good example of, like, of how attached you are to the characters. Like, the characters are pulling this off. All that's happening is a go-kart is being ruined. Like, who should cry over a go-kart being ruined? But it's so sad. Because you're invested in the characters. And King Candy's such a jerk. And I love it because they subvert your expectations with King Candy, too. Because, King Candy shows up and he's like, I'm trying to do the right thing here, Ralph. She can't do it because X, Y, stupid reasons. And Ralph's like, yeah, I mean, you're making sense. And he's making sense. And you're like, no, this can't be right, though, because it doesn't feel right.
I mean, technically his reasoning is still true.
Yeah.
But it's like a super negative way to look on the universe. And also there's the whole resetting the game thing that he doesn't want to happen. But whatever.
Yeah.
He's
still lying.
He's hiding behind the truth.
Yeah.
And not the full truth. And that's part of why his writing is so good. Because he's a sneaky villain that actually uses truth to mislead people.
My one complaint about this movie is the whole joke at the end with her being a princess and then her saying something about wanting to make the game a democracy. And I'm just like, all right, wrap it up.
The democracy thing was dumb. It's like, just be the princess. You can rule and also race and not wear the clothes.
Or, like, just don't do this joke. It's just not a funny joke, in my opinion.
It just keeps dragging.
And going.
And going. Hey, come on.
Like, the only good part of the joke is when she's like, everyone who is ever mean to me shall be executed. And then they just start crying. And Calhoun's like, yeah. I like
this just got
girl.
Interesting.
Also, Disney, let Calhoun say fuck.
All right. I think that's probably enough about the movie that people have seen years ago. So now we're going to talk about
Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph breaks the internet with friends.
Ta-da!
All right, and now we've gone and seen the movie, and we're back here. I'm Sean, of course.
I'm Tennille.
And we have two friends with us. Hi!
Hi.
And your names are?
Oh, sorry about that. I'm Owen, Sean's old friend. I have a general online presence of That Fry Guy.
I'm Carter with Owen's girlfriend. I was going to say roommate, but I was like girlfriend. Both? Yeah, both. My online presence is known as Mikeland in my streaming channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, and we'll have a link to any social media so that they want to spread down in the description. So
probably just her Twitter and her Twitch.
Yeah. Carter streams, so that's cool.
Yeah. All right, and we went and saw Wreck-It Ralph 2, and we're going to start with non-spoilers here, so if you're interested in that, that's good. If you want spoilers, stick around. If you don't, leave at that point.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one.
My initial reaction is it's not as good as the first one, but I had a really good time.
Oh yes, laughing like our entire theater was pretty good about it. The laughing at the good jokes, staying a little quieter at the bad ones. I definitely agree with the assessment. But that's that the first one was better. But that usually happens with sequels anyway.
Yeah, like I'm not heartbroken. I think this is a much better sequel than Incredibles 2 was. Did you guys get a chance to see Incredibles 2?
No. Well,
that's okay.
It released, and there was the big thing that makes us see movies is they typically get released, and unless it's a movie we've been waiting to see, if people like on Tumblr or on the internet really enjoyed it,
they'll talk about it.
They'll talk about it, but I saw personally nothing, and I'm following like 400 people on Tumblr, so I see everything.
Yeah, people didn't. There wasn't a whole lot of buzz after Incredibles 2 came out. It was like people were like, I really liked it. It's cool. There was finally another Incredibles 2 movie, and Sean and I were like, it was fine. TM. And then, like, everyone stopped talking about it.
And where this is, in your guys' opinion, better than that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
To me, this felt like a correct extension to this universe. Like, it didn't feel super shoved in your face of, like, we're making a sequel and we have no idea what to do. No, it felt like they had a general idea of what they wanted to do with this one, and I feel it worked.
I agree. I would say that, like, the biggest thing I was worried about going into the movie is that it feels like any movie nowadays that tries to incorporate the internet, like video games and internet culture and the meme life stuff, like, really can either be really well well done, or, like,
a mess.
The cringiest thing you've ever seen.
It could be the Emoji Movie.
Yeah. Terrible placement of everything in it.
Well, I think this movie started off strong with, there's a segment right at the beginning of the film where the movie just kind of straight starts, it feels like, and Ralph is on, like, a Mac screen, or, like, any kind of...
Well, that wasn't even part of the movie.
Like, right, it's not part of the movie, but, like, this is how it started.
It's the Disney pre-show thing.
Yeah, like,
thank you for watching our movie type thing.
I think it was smart to start with that because the
way
leads,
they framed it.
Yeah, the leads, like the director, Rich Moore, and a few of the supervisors came out and they're like, hey, I hope you enjoy our movie, and they did that whole spiel. And throughout that segment, there was just, like, these glimpses of poking fun at all of them for not really understanding the internet or how technology works.
And they're old.
And I think that was perfect for, like, kind of self-admitting, like, yeah, we don't necessarily get everything that's in our film, but we're trying.
We're trying. We have a lot of people helping.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The credits were really, really long. You didn't get to see them because you had to leave.
Yeah. Sorry.
But, but they were incredibly long. And the sections that they had listed for each individual, like, media department, and then they had I'm forgetting the name of it, but they had, like, a whole team dedicated to just, like, looking at everything and making sure that it fit the culture of the internet exactly. I forget what that team was called. It was under the media or above it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had representatives from every product placement.
Yes.
Which was numerous. And one of the things I was curious about is, like, okay, how much product placement is going to be directly involved in the plot?
Because that's something we talked about with the last film.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, they have, like, Sonic and all those other characters that are in the movie, but
a lot of I just want to say a lot of the characters that showed up in the original Wreck-It Ralph show up again here for little cameos,
but
and it's
definitely less.
Definitely less.
It's like they only got, like, Sonic and Street Fighter. And, like, Pac-Man.
There was other stuff, too.
There was Pac-Man. They talked a little bit in the
Tapper Bar.
Tapper Bar. The green dude that I'm always forgetting the name of because I keep wanting to call him Quimby, but the little green guy with the long nose who was one of the original. Yeah, I can't even describe it very well.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He was in the original movie, and his game had gotten canceled, and he was sitting out.
You mean the orange guy?
Yeah.
Hubert?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not green. That's why I'm like, what are you talking about?
I was thinking of the green guy. I'm sorry.
Are you colorblind?
No, I'm not. But I swear, looking back at that entire movie, anytime I saw him, he was green to me. So never mind.
He definitely was not.
But either way, the first one decided to play it really safe with the video game references and like mainly stayed in its own made-up games and stuff. And I was wondering how much of that was going to happen in this one. And we have the main areas that are for this movie only. We have knockoff YouTube and online GTA style video game. Murder Race? Slaughter Race.
This place called Slaughter Race.
Yes.
No, there's YouTube actually was there.
Yeah.
It was there.
They actually mention YouTube by name a couple of times. We never go there. But like there's everything mentioned, and there are actual plot devices from real companies in this, but they were handled correctly. Unlike the Emoji Movie from last year.
Right.
We have to DDR to get out of here. Oh, that movie was bad.
No, we shouldn't spend most of this comparing the two because this is knock it out of the park. No matter what we do.
As far, I think going back to Carter's original point though, that like how the references were handled, I thought it was much stronger in this film. And someone who's on the internet, I'm like,
this feels like I'm on the internet.
This is relatable.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the internet light, and it's done correctly. And this movie does a very good way of encapsulating the good parts and the not so great parts about being online.
Yeah.
The pop-ups.
The pop-up guys.
The pop-ups.
Yeah.
The pop-ups were great.
I specifically can't wait to watch it again later and
just stop the movie every 5 seconds.
Just be able to look at all the things on screen because every time you're in an area, they show a new area. There's a ton of little hidden references to 1,000 different things going on. At some point in a far background, you can see a broken down Ethernet sign, not Ethernet, dial-up sign. And things like that, and you can see
it was by the public chat rooms.
Yeah, by the public chat rooms and all that stuff.
It's because at one point, one of the characters ends up in an area that's just
dilapidated.
Unused parts of the internet. Just so old, and it's oh, this is cool. I really liked that.
Because the wreckage was actually
the wreckage?
There's a lot of wreckage and rubble all around there. And if you look at it, it looked... I could see some old website logos and stuff crumbled and broken in there.
It was good.
That I recognized.
And it's sad that we do recognize them because we were there.
I feel old.
We're so old. We're in our 20s.
Be careful there. You're almost not.
Hey, rude.
Rude. So with that being said, I would totally recommend this movie, especially if you liked the original Wreck-It Ralph. This isn't again. I realized last week that this is the first modern Disney film we've gotten to cover on the channel, and that makes me super excited. Because the last Disney films to come out were Moana and then Zootopia the same year a little earlier.
And that was in 2016.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a whole year without a Disney movie. And it's so nice to see Disney again.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's just yes, thank you.
When did the original Wreck-It Ralph come out?
It was
8
a long
years
time ago because I was still in
the
high
year
school.
before Frozen.
This movie talked about how it came out.
This movie is 6
ago.
years in the future.
Yeah. I said 8 is 6.
Yeah.
Wow, time flies.
Yes, it does.
I thought it came out 2 years ago.
No, it didn't.
No.
I'm old.
You blink and time goes away.
Yeah. No, it was... I think they did a lot of really good things in this movie, especially with the time progression, because it's a video game, none of the characters age, but you can tell that their relationships over that time have aged. Different characters interact differently,
Calhoun and Felix.
Yeah, Calhoun and Felix interact differently.
They've been married for 6 years.
I love them so much. I honestly, that's one minor nitpick. I wish they were in the movie more, because every time they were on screen, it was brilliant.
It's honestly, they're in the movie as just these characters still exist.
And they're still happy. They're they're okay.
They're still doing their thing.
Yeah,
love it.
I will say I don't think I wouldn't consider it any spoilers, but I loved seeing Calhoun in casual clothes at one point at the very end.
Yeah.
You see her one time, not in armor.
So be on the lookout for that.
Oh, it's just nice to see all the different characters in casual outfits. I know we've seen the Disney princesses' casual outfits in the trailers, but seeing it in the full scene, not just the trailer scene, they're all self-referential shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, do we want to talk about that briefly?
Let's talk about that, because I talked about this earlier on the channel in one of my Drawing a Blank videos, is I wasn't too keen on how it was being handled in the trailers. I liked the whole princess thing more in the movie.
But it still felt really in your face.
Yeah. It was really cool seeing and hearing all the original voice actors. I don't dig Disney self-deprecation jokes. Self-deprecating jokes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, stop. It's not hip, it's not cool, it's not funny. Don't make fun of yourself. Just be proud of being Disney and just do your thing. We don't need a joke about Ariel being a dumbass. I don't care for that. But
it wasn't as unbearable as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Because honestly, the princesses scene could have really made or break the humor.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's for every joke that worked, there was one that didn't. And it was obvious in our theater that, the jokes that hit, and the jokes that didn't left everybody just
okay.
I mean, even the kids were quiet.
Yeah.
I was shocked at that. We had, kids right next to us and right behind us. Actually, we were surrounded, but I mean, we're barely
theater experience was actually really good for a theater full of children.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think it helps that there weren't any children, I think, that were really little.
There was a baby crying at one point.
Okay.
But, it wasn't wailing or anything. It was just...
I mean, I didn't hear it, but then again, I'm deaf.
See, and the one thing that I was thinking about during the movie at one point, I don't know when, it was more of I wondered if the kids would enjoy this movie as much as watching it then versus in a couple of years when they can see all the little things that they don't catch, because it felt like the movie, to me personally, wasn't made for kids. It felt like it was made for not so much full adults, but somewhere in the middle.
Teens.
Exactly.
Well, I think from a marketing standpoint, this movie is probably made for either A, people our age, or B, people younger than us, but older than 10.
Yeah. I would say teenagers.
Because they grew up with Wreck-It Ralph, and so this would be coming back to it, and you'd be old enough to understand a lot of the internet stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I want to point out, too. There's not a whole lot of, current memes or anything like that in this film. There's definitely, internet culture things, and I think that's a good thing, because that's going to last a whole lot longer than direct memes. There's more commentary on the internet as a general whole.
Yeah, as compared to, this is the meme that was funny when we made the movie, but now it's been 15 minutes and it's not funny anymore.
Well, like Yes said, you were trending and it's been 15 seconds. You're not trending anymore.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just an internet culture thing. That's not something that's going to change probably 5 years down the line.
No. I would think that the only thing that would probably fall out of date that they did talk about is specifically, at one point they talked about things that were trending at the moment, so makeup tutorials, food cooking videos,
stuff like that.
unwrapping gameplay footage, unwrapping of like toys
unboxing.
and things. Yeah, toy unboxing.
They do even say like the screaming goats, but they mention the screaming goats as the screaming goats are back, which I thought was smart.
Screaming goats, they're back again.
They're back again.
Just like as a casual like throwaway, it's like, yes, we know this isn't funny anymore, but we're saying it's funny in our universe, so just deal with it.
It's back in this time.
And I was like, okay, there you go, that works.
But of course, when they mentioned gaming, they had to use the most memed upon game of Fortnite Battle Royale.
I mean, it's there for 5 seconds.
I know nothing about Fortnite. I've never seen any gameplay of it, so when they showed that, I was just like, yep, that's gameplay footage.
we recognize it all too well.
Yeah, I feel like a majority of people who do play games, more online-based games, would recognize that. I know you guys play a different sort of genre.
Yeah.
We don't do online.
Yeah, we're more online computer games. You guys are much more like video game people.
I love the distinction. We are online games and you guys are video games.
Well,
Stay on your TVs, you jerks.
Old school
elitists. We're gonna be over here on our MMORPGs. Do people still play MMOs?
Yes.
We still play MMOs.
I mean, they're dying, but
they're becoming very cash grabby at this point. It's hard to make a good one.
Kind of have to survive, I think.
Well, you can't make anything unless
anyway,
you...
No. A different discussion for a different day.
Let's change subjects and let's shift into spoilers.
Yeah.
Full spoilers.
Okay, so spoiler time. If you don't want spoilers,
get out.
Now's the time to leave.
3, 2, 1. Now we're going into spoilers.
There's no twist villain.
Oh my God!
Twist villain.
I'm so happy.
Disney, bless your heart.
Thank you.
Wreck-It Ralph knows how to fix things.
The true villain is toxic relationships.
Thank you.
I will say that's the as much as I love the way the story went, the fact it was a just ever so slight rehash of the main conflict of the first movie kind of irked me.
Yeah.
Because Ralph goes to do something,
and then he messes it up.
Kind of good-natured, and he just...
Good-intentioned.
Just messes it up entirely.
Makes Penelope...
Vanellope. She got a V in there.
Yeah. Makes V...
Like vanilla.
Yeah.
Vanellope.
Oh.
Yeah.
Makes V so mad at him. They have a fight, they leave, and then she's in danger because of the thing he did, and he's got to save her again, and then they're all happy.
Again.
After a heartfelt conversation.
Yeah.
It's really, really on the nose of how much Ralph is an idiot and messes everything up.
I did not care for that whole second act going into the third.
Yeah.
That's what's the weakest point for me, because I felt like this movie was a really good time and a barrel of laughs up until they go to the dark web.
They're like, all right, we need to find some way to make conflict in this awesome movie, so we're going to come up with some dumb... Ralph is going to do a dumb.
I don't like Ralph's motivation. I don't like Vanellope's motivation, because, like, both of them just kind of have a miscommunication. Well, not even a miscommunication. Like,
because she didn't...
They just need to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And instead of doing that, they both kind of go to extremes where Vanellope's like, I'm not going to tell him anything, and I'm going to stay in this game where it could reboot at any time and I'd suddenly die. I could die at any time because this place is really freaking dangerous and I'd be dead.
It's GTA.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah. Although I will state with that is that the one thing is that at the end they did clarify that Shanks put her into the code.
Oh, yes,
which I was like, why didn't they just do that at the beginning then?
Yeah, why didn't you do that earlier?
And then you could leave and come back as
I'm
you
wondering
please.
If they just didn't think about it.
And they did, and they were like, crap, we need a reason for why she can stay.
That or to go into the technical terms of the world itself, maybe the servers have to be offline
before
they can change the code.
Well, because they did say that the game had to be offline so they could update. So at the at the end when she was like, "Oh, I can see you in 2 months."
Mm-hmm.
When the
server's
updating.
offline, because the games don't turn off there the same way that they
Honestly,
do.
I really liked all those touches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you guys have a lot more.
The attention to details, yet again, really good in this movie, just like it was in the first one.
Yeah, like I mentioned to Tennille once, just a slight animation detail that I don't normally notice. In the princess's room, the mirror in the background just fascinated me how well it showed the princess's movements. Like, it's way in the background. It's kind of fogged over, so it's blurry.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just so nice to me. I don't know
Actually
why.
reflecting?
Yeah.
Or, quote unquote, actually looked like it was reflecting the scene correctly?
Yeah. I mean, a computer program can do that. So no one animated that, but yeah.
But still, just
It's a
in
nice
general.
touch. Because they could have just had it
I didn't
with a
even
light.
notice the mirror.
I didn't even notice that either. Because they could have had a light sheen over it and you never would have had to look at it. Just a basic blur thing. No, I like the way that they kept the online world updating. Although, to me, personally, I feel like it means that if there's a third movie, which I don't know if I want them to ever make a third movie, because I feel like this is a good ending. Because Penelope can't leave as easily as they could. Like, the games don't end there, so she can't just hop
She's
back and
online
forth.
24/7.
Yeah,
essentially.
she's being, like, which is something that bothered me, because I felt like she so easily abandoned the other game and the people that she knew in the other game. Like, yeah, her and the other racers had a conflict, but they still weren't, like, at the end of the first movie, they kind of had, like, a friendly-ish relationship going on, and I feel like she just abandoned everyone from her old game.
Yeah.
And she's the main character. She's never going back there.
Yeah. Well, and they dropped the whole president thing in the last movie.
I'm so glad they did.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember. At the end of the movie, she's like, you're the princess. She's like, I don't want to be princess. I'm going to be president. And they do, like, a really dumb, like, political joke about
Okay, I'll
systems
take your word.
of government and stuff like that.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, yeah, it's really silly. And, like, they just drop that. It's like, no, she's
back
just
to being a
princess.
Yeah.
That is something I do want to talk about, and I guess we could have talked about this in the non-spoilers. This should have been in there. But this is kind of a big deal. This is the first time, well, technically I guess the third time, Disney's done a sequel to one of their animated films.
Oh, yeah, because we have The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under, and that movie tanked. And then we had The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and then The Winnie the Pooh, or Winnie the Pooh, and that movie tanked, which is really sad. And then we have Wreck-It Ralph 2, and those are the only true Disney sequels made by the same company.
Oh.
Everything else is,
I
like,
didn't know that.
made by a subsection, like...
I bet no wonder the quality of the animation, it goes downhill every sequel.
Oh, yeah, like all of your Aladdin 2s and
Ariel
Bambi 2s and Ariel 2s, or the Little Mermaid 2s, those are all made by a separate company.
Disney Toon or some other studio. Yeah, so this... And this is the first time I think they've pulled off a sequel well.
Yes!
And this is another thing that I kind of want to touch on, but I don't think we've had this discussion at Animation Pilgrimage yet.
Probably not. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I can't read your mind.
Well, remember how we've kind of been talking about the difference between films and cartoons?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so this is something we're going to be talking about in Animation Pilgrimage in like a week or two. But we've...
Okay, well, we bring it up in tomorrow's episode, which might be today, depending on when this video goes up.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It's called Gulliver's Travels Beyond the Moon. It's a really fun movie.
And you say that for you, like, a specific studio has made it. They're finally making films rather than cartoons.
Yes. They feel like I can critique them as compared to just being, oh yeah, good movie, yeah, good for you, good try.
Right.
We're kind of filling our co-hosts in here at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, most certainly. We are not.
You don't watch our channel.
I watch 5 minutes every now and then.
That's fine, I don't care.
But And then later on in another review we do, I say
next week.
Yeah, in the week after the Gulliver's Travels Beyond the Moon, I talk about how I understand your sentiment and how I think that, you know, in order for there to be a difference between film and cartoon, that a film can be wrapped up in its own narrative and you can't really see it continuing past that point.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a cartoon feels like a saga that could just, like, go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Like, you could easily divide it up in, like, segments and stuff. But we haven't really talked about direct sequels.
Mm-hmm.
And how do those still count as films, or are those now cartoons?
Right. This movie, like, we rewatched the first one,
mm-hmm.
and
that's a film.
And that's definitely a film. And when we finished watching it, I was thinking about our conversation with that, and I was just like, man, how are they going to make Wreck-It Ralph 2 a film?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is so complete by itself.
Yes. I think this still counts as a film because it feels like every character has a new arc that they learn and get over and finish. There's some bumps with, I don't necessarily care for Ralph's arc just because he's so needy and desperate and a very bad friend. Mm-hmm. And that's what he needs to learn about, really on the nose, honestly. And it's like, all right, he's a bad person. Oh, look, he realizes he's a bad person, and now he's going to get over it immediately. It's not like a learning process with him. That's probably the weakest part.
Mm-hmm. And
Sorry, we're cutting you off.
I was going to say, the one thing is that I feel like, even though he did kind of change on a dime, I feel like they tried to show a little bit of that struggle near the end when they were saying goodbye. Mm-hmm. And, because he was sitting there and trying to watch that for a little bit after she left, and he had, like, a tear in his eye or something, like an extra tear or something, and I was like, I can kind of almost see how they tried to make it show like he really doesn't want her to go in there, because she does try and sit and console him, like, it's fine, I won't be killed, I'll come back if I am killed.
In case you're not aware, because you either haven't seen the movie or you're not planning on seeing the movie, Vanellope leaves the arcade permanently, and she's going to go live in
GTA, basically.
The GTA instead, because she thinks it's a lot more fun.
Grand Theft Auto, for those that don't know the acronym.
GTA, yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah. GTA, or Grand Theft Auto Online, is the allegory they're going for with... What did we call it? Slaughter Race. I can't remember this for some reason.
And they got all your popular big, like, you could take a lot of direct parallels from the characters that they had to characters in the game and scenarios in the game.
Okay.
The race that they actually take is at one point when they're stealing the car, the race that they go into the dried up riverbed kind of looking thing. Mm-hmm. That's a physical location in the game. Because that's when
that's because it's a physical location in San Francisco.
Oh, I'm a moron. I forgot it's based off of San Francisco. Oh. Yeah. I was like, that's a good, I poked him and I was like, oh, I know that this is GTA because I recognize that water canal. And he's like...
I mean, the only difference between Slaughter Race and Grand Theft Auto, Slaughter Race literally goes on forever. GTA.
And I mean, and it takes place in like a post-apocalyptic Mad Max-esque type
city.
And GTA is, you're on an island. And good luck.
And I can go golfing in GTA, and I feel like if I tried to go golfing in Slaughterhouse, I'd get killed.
Slaughter Race.
Well, no, you're golfing and the ball is supposed to just decapitate people.
Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
Something, who knows?
It's like they somehow covered what is very clearly an M-rated or...
R-rated?
It's M-rated for games.
Yeah.
M for mature.
M for mature, like very clearly an M-rated online game, but they covered it without showing any of the M-rated stuff for this PG-13 movie.
Oh.
PG?
I'm pretty sure it's PG.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never pay attention to those things.
Yeah.
I think I would probably say the most violence in Slaughter Race would probably either be there were 2 scenes, which would be the flame thrower scene where the players get
oh my gosh, I love the animation on the players.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, you guys play online games.
Yes, they move. I was sitting there like they move like real people. I was like, she jumps when she gets out of the car. Like she gets out of the car and does a jump, and I'm like, I do that.
It's like a jump animation.
I was like,
and it's so stiff.
Like stiff as the characters like move towards each other. Oh, I loved when like right after that they're going to steal the car and all the NPC characters like show up and they all start walking towards the player characters. But like the animation doesn't match up with the speeds that they're moving. Like one of the characters is like walking towards them with the crowbar and like their feet are sliding on the ground. It's like, this is so good because video games so often do that. It's like they have one walk cycle and it's used for no matter what distance they're going. And it's like, oh, they're walking faster than they're supposed to be. So they slide on the ground a little bit. I love it.
They did an excellent job with I feel all the human interactions, because they do I wouldn't say super frequently, but they occasionally show people in the real world looking at like their computer screen, seeing like seeing what Ralph has done, seeing what Vanellope has done. I said it right that time. And like,
good job.
They did a really good job, I feel, showing real people in that, considering like the last movie that we saw, it was like mostly
just like a couple of kid characters,
a couple of little kids, and they weren't important. But like on here, you actually see like
people reacting to their internet crashing,
and yeah, you see them interacting with that. You see the 2 slaughter race characters. You can it pulls back and shows both characters, and you got like a 14-year-old boy and like what looks like a mid-20s rainbow-haired girl playing the same game.
Right.
And they're like partners in this game, and so I feel like they really show like the dynamic of that really well, especially for the real life people, I say, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And the little talk that the NPCs had after they torched the player characters, like, yeah, are we being too hard on the player characters? Like, it took them like 31 hours to even get here, and like we just torched them. There's nothing they could do.
And then they're like, well, it's a struggle. If it's not a good reward for them, then who cares? It's no fun. There's no satisfaction. Like, they actually talk about their game in like I don't want to say the morality of it, but more of like the effort versus reward aspect of their game.
Right.
And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, especially since that was important, because they were there because someone wanted that car, didn't want to put in the effort, and was willing to pay a ton of money to get that car stolen.
Oh my goodness. 40,000 for an online commodity is sadly
not that expensive.
Fairly realistic.
Pretty common.
Ouch. I didn't know that.
No.
It would not be for an item that only takes 31 hours to get.
No.
Is the thing.
Well, I doubt it, because they work 31 hours, but I doubt they would actually be able to get that item in that game after 31 hours.
Well, that, and honestly, I feel like the way they portrayed it was a little bit weird, because it seemed like personally the players were very underpowered in comparison to the game, which I understand what they were trying to show is like, oh, this is a real like rough M-rated game, like you have like it's very violence heavy and such. But I feel like that's why the car was worth so much, is because it seemed like it was almost unobtainable. Because the main characters, Vanellope and Ralph, didn't even manage to get the car at all.
Mm-hmm.
They got close.
They got very close. They just. But that's because even then that was only because of Vanellope's glitch. Mm-hmm. I don't think a normal player could have done it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Talking about Slaughter Race though, another thing I'm a little disappointed in is Shank. Shank. When I first saw her in a trailer, I was like, oh yes, please step on me. But like, she didn't do much for me in this movie.
No, she's just really...
She was a plot development.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's pretty generic. Just kind of like, yeah, cool, we can help you out, whatever.
Yeah, she didn't have a character arc.
Yes was more of a character than Shank was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Yes. Yes was a lot of fun.
Her coat
I love how she constantly changed clothes, like every
clothes
and
clothes,
hair.
Yeah, she's constantly changing.
Every single scene.
Because she's got to be trending.
Her helper is maybe.
Maybe. I love that.
And he never changes.
Maybe.
He stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, maybe. We never saw a no.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like, but she was also, I feel...
She's yes and no.
She's yes and no because she was saying no to everything.
In her introduction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was scrolling through all the popular things.
And just going
character.
going back to when we just saw these trailers and we weren't sure if there was going to be a twist villain, because if you look at Disney and Pixar films of recent years, pretty much every single movie has had a twist villain.
I mean, the original Wreck-It Ralph had a twist villain.
Yeah.
Movies.
The best twist villain.
Yeah, the best twist villain and one of the first of this whole escapade. We actually talked about that. We recorded a brief bit of just us talking about the
original
Wreck-It Ralph one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. But either way, it's so I had the discussion with Tina. I was like, if there's going to be a twist villain, my bets are 100% going to be on yes. And then as this movie is playing out, I was like, okay, is it yes and Shank in some sort of racketeering? They send it to
the further the movie went on, though, the more I was like, there's no villain.
Because up until the point where it's very apparent that the villain is toxic relationships, you're expecting Yes and Shank to just take the money out from under them.
Yeah, either take the money out from under them, or when the YouTube knockoff started sending out clickbait everywhere, I was like, is this somehow going to be the villain plot? Mm-hmm. Is the ads are bad or something?
They really focused
no, it wasn't.
on it.
The whole them getting money
because of their own idiocy
plot line, just kind of concludes.
Yeah.
In the middle of the movie.
I'll be honest. It felt weird.
I didn't even realize it concluded.
Oh, yeah, because you don't actually see Ralph get the part.
No, he's just outside eBay waiting for Vanellope to show up.
Yeah. And he, in a throwaway line, is like, yeah, I bought the thing, and I'm just waiting for her to get back so we can go home. And I was like, whoa, that was really fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
I'll also say, I thought it was weird that he ended up with $30,000 and he needed $27,001. Why didn't he head there immelfangled? He went there with less than 20 minutes to buy the auction.
He's a grandpa program. He doesn't know this newfangled technology. He didn't realize he hit 27,000.
No. That's because Yes walked up to him and said, "You made your goal. You have 5 minutes to get there," basically. And I was like, you overshot it, but you could have been there with tons of spare time, because I thought they were gonna have an issue with the E-boy actually being I thought he was going to turn big, hulking evil.
I thought they were going to do the same thing.
Yeah,
where's the money?
Yeah, when he didn't come back in time.
But no, he's just this E-boy.
Yeah. And that's it. And I was like, well, it felt like a drop-off of that, because they showed him multiple times, giving him the time limit. He was like, you've got 5 minutes left to buy this. And then suddenly it's 20 minutes later, he's bought the thing, and there is no...
Yeah, it's the
conflict with the money thing.
The first act was just completely nice little bow.
Yeah, here you go, it's done. And honestly, I was kind of happy with the movie. Once we got to that point, I'm like, all right, cool, let's wrap this up. And then
we had to go into the final third,
and I'm just I don't care so much for this.
That is the
final third where we do the not Donkey Kong, King Kong
reference.
King Kong thing, climbing Google Tower with the army of evil Ralphs that are way too needy and dependent.
Which, I'll be honest, I felt because I really enjoyed the first movie. I thought it was really good. Mm-hmm. Coming to this one, I felt like they took his character and really oversimplified it. Because in the first one, he was not nearly as needy
and dumb.
Yeah, he seemed a lot smarter in the first movie. And
this is one of those things that often happens in sequels. It's we're going to take this aspect of the character that people really liked and then dial it up to 900.
Mm-hmm. And they really did that for him, and I feel like they did that a little bit for her as well.
It was a bit of a disservice for him, especially.
Definitely. At least they had a sort of explanation, because the way the first 5 minutes of the film are, it's literally Ralph and Vanellope's daily schedule, and it never changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he got that way, because they had a schedule. They never changed it. And now Vanellope's
He's scared of change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I find that interesting that Vanellope wanted more because of the way, games are coded. They're supposed to be set in their ways, but I mean,
she's the one that would be different because she's got the glitch.
Yeah, she's still quote broken unquote.
True.
Like, because I thought it was kind of weird that like she was really obsessed with getting new stuff, but she never talked about it really with him before this. So I felt like they could have done like the new track that he made. I feel like that could have happened a lot sooner.
Well, or could have happened, not in the middle of the day.
In the middle of a race.
But Ralph was just an idiot.
Yeah, Ralph was just...
Which I thought was weird because they talk about, you need to be back at your game. And, like, that was the whole plot of the first thing, is getting back there by dawn. And
then he doesn't
there.
go back to his own game.
And then they were in the internet for a full 24 hours.
Was it 24 hours?
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah, it was.
I think they comment that they need to...
It's like Sunday, so the place is going to be closed?
Yeah.
They needed to have it done by Thursday.
Do it before, like, the end of the weekend kind of thing.
They needed to get it done by Friday. And I guess the expedited shipping of the parts, when they go to, can we say, they're playing eBay as a game and just get the highest number possible. And they've got one poor human,
who actually wanted the part.
Yeah.
Which I think that the people's avatars were the coolest, neatest little things.
They were adorable.
I love the human avatars.
They go to $27,001, with the thing had started at $300.
Mm-hmm.
200.
200,
that's
yeah.
It went to 275 when that human bid on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just kept hiking the number.
Go up by 5, go up by 5. Oh, go up by 25 to get the 350. And Vanellope's just like, no, 1,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys are an idiot. And I love how you very clearly don't understand
what's
money.
going on.
You don't understand money.
That was awesome.
I loved it.
Which is weird because the bar has a tab, which means there is a money system. Because he says, Felix will pay my tab around on everyone.
Yes, you're right.
So they do know how money works because they have a money system. Well, but they didn't understand that this was... I don't think they understand the concept of, like, PayPal, credit cards, things like that.
I don't think they understand the dollar bill.
That's the thing, is they understand money. Because money, like you said, money is a concept in video games. But they didn't understand that eBay was working off of money.
No.
They didn't understand dollars.
Which is weird
because they probably work off of like coins or something like that.
Yeah, there was a dollar symbol next to it. I'm like, well, I guess maybe if they never see that. But I mean, they're in an arcade. There was one scene where they showed a girl putting in a dollar bill, getting quarters back. And I'm like, there's got to have been a machine in that arcade who sees that, because those machines have the freaking dollar bill sign written all over them. And I'm like,
I don't know.
How do you not comprehend this? It just
is
made
probably
no sense
true.
to me.
They're video game characters, and they went to the internet, and they thought everything on the internet is just another game.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. They did come from everything's a game to not
suddenly now
everything's...
they're interacting with like actual real people
and
sort of
different communities of a sort.
Yeah.
I loved the loot finder. And I loved the loot finder and whatever the hell was going on with the weird thing that he called his friend. Yeah.
Oh,
his little partner.
Stretchy arm.
What's his name? Mort? Or what was his name?
It was like Cord.
It was like a single sound.
It was like, and he said it really fast and really loud multiple times. No, something about that
the weird, very slowly extending arm thing.
That was really creepy.
That's very unsettling. I love it.
Yeah,
but
it was very good.
It makes sense that a site like Loot Finder would be in a terrible little
caravan thing,
RV-like thing, where a site like their version of YouTube, BuzzTube, is in this very fancy casino-like place.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. The personification of websites in these buildings
and the different sectors.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, it works so well. Like, because there's whole different communities of like, these are the nice areas. Like, did you notice that like Disney or like Oh My Disney was right next to like all of these super really really safe websites like hotels and like a couple of food places.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
And then you got like the video games next to each other, and like eBay was near Google and stuff like that.
I did really like all the Oh My Disney jokes that weren't revolved around the princesses.
Oh, Stan Lee was in there.
Yeah,
May
Stan
rest
Lee's
in
in
peace.
there. That was cool. I liked the snobby guy who was asking questions
To Groot.
to Groot.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
And just like, and I noticed in the credits that Rich Moore, the director for this film, plays one of the stormtroopers that's chasing Vanellope through the place. That was a...
Oh,
Had to get the Wilhelm scream in there.
When
Yeah.
she used her pop-up to send him the stormtrooper away, that's
just
just great.
That was so good.
Oh, man.
There was something else I wanted to talk about, but now it's...
It keeps getting lost because they keep getting sidetracked with even more stuff.
The dark web was properly personified.
Oh, yeah.
It was interesting.
Everyone's wearing shady glasses and hoodies and stuff. Oh, I liked the guy that's just like, hey, do you want to buy some social security cards?
And
it was just like a throwaway thing to like a random human. I was like, ooh, that's dark. I like it.
And yeah, that, and then like, I will say the weird thing is like the virus shop, because the virus shop that they go into, the guy there is, that's technically a person. But at the same, I don't know why he doesn't have an avatar, but at the same time it was obvious because they're not like all machine made, like a person had to,
Right.
like in the real world, the not Wreck-It Ralph world.
Well, it's just like the loot fighter guy.
It's a bot.
Yeah, it's a yeah. which
It's
is
someone's
why-
really gross, fleshy bot that they made to make like
to make
to make
use
viruses
viruses and
so they
stuff.
could make real life money, which is weird because there was no, like, the money was so important to the plot, but there was no exchange to getting this virus, this supposedly super dangerous, highly
I guess that's just playing on the fact that I'm assuming the way they like figured this would be fine is they figured people that make viruses aren't in it for the money, except they are.
Oh, the 100%
Yeah.
are.
But they're in it to just cause chaos and mayhem, which
there's some.
you're not
Yeah.
inherently wrong, but a lot of them are doing chaos and mayhem for
money.
profit.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's why I felt like they were okay with doing it the way they did.
Yeah. I thought it was a little bit weird because they really tried to make like the virus guy like I thought maybe he would be the villain in it, because like when they introduce him and they're like don't look at his little brother, and they pull like that whole section just seemed kind of weird to me because they tried to it felt like they tried to really play him up as someone really important to the story, but then he never comes back, he never does anything, he just gives them the virus and they leave. And
He doesn't even get his
doesn't even-
comeuppance.
Yeah.
That's the problem. This is another sequel thing where it's like a good sequel should have characters that you feel should have been there the whole time. Like Puss in Boots in Shrek 2. You know?
That's a character that's introduced that, yes, it feels like this character should have been in the first movie.
Right.
They were
like
that good.
Shrek
Really
isn't Shrek
good.
without Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
But like all of these characters don't really leave any kind of mark on the film, like on the franchise, if this were to be a franchise. If I never saw any of these characters again,
You wouldn't be like, oh, but I miss
Right.
Shank or whatever.
right. But like if there was ever a Wreck-It Ralph 3 and Fix-It Felix wasn't in it,
That
I'd
would
be
feel
like,
wrong.
That would be like,
Even
why?
as a cameo.
Yeah, why wasn't Fix-It Felix in here? You know?
That kind of thing, yeah.
Oh
And-
my goodness! When I'm sorry to digress,
No, go ahead.
but
Do
talking
it.
about characters that were, kind of need to be there. Poor Sonic. When he goes, "This is what the internet is, Ralph."
That was
I was like,
so
"Oh my
cringy.
goodness, you picked the perfect character to explain the internet."
This is the internet, because I'm Sonic, and I'm here to tell you all about Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and even Ralph is like,
Yeah, whatever.
thanks, Sonic.
Thanks, Sonic. It's like, no problem.
Because in the first movie, Sonic's the one that's on the... If you die outside your game, you die for good. He's just the info guy.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, I guess
it's so fitting.
It's so good.
I'm so glad that the Sega company was down for that. I bet they were like, 100% yes.
Yes.
Do that with Sonic. And then he shows up at the end in like the book club and is like, wow, duality. I love it.
I don't know if it was noticed, but Wreck-It Ralph, the entire time that he had his book upside down.
Yes,
during the book club.
Well, of course he did.
Yeah, and he's like, I
don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's.
I want to believe that Hubert has a perfect knowledge of the book that they were reading, but like he can't communicate.
Because no one else can understand.
No one else speaks Hubertese.
Except Felix, who was not there.
Who's not a book club.
Oh my goodness. How did they fix the racer kid?
I don't know. That was the best joke of the movie.
Oh. He just smacked him in the head with a hammer and it was good.
He can fix it!
Yeah.
Oh my
but the fact that it's like, but the secret to parenting is race cars.
And you don't hear anything. And then you got more race cars. And that's the secret to parenting.
Wow.
That's how you make a perfect kid.
Hear this.
No, that was a good one. I thought the joke was a little on the nose, but I was like, it's fine because it's not directed towards like the kids. It's directly towards the parents who have to watch this movie with their kids, and they're like, I get that. That's my life.
I really enjoyed that joke, and obviously the audience did too.
Yeah,
they were dying. The parents were dying,
and the whole setup for that whole thing too was great. Where like
they're trying to find homes for all the random animals.
And Calhoun just like look at each other like, I know we haven't talked about this at all. But, like, adopting 15 children just seems
just a spur of the moment thing seems perfectly right.
Yeah.
And Serge is just like, hey,
oh no.
You really don't want to do this, but I'm not going to stop you if you do it, but you don't really want to do this.
No, and I love, like, they leave the room and immediately their entire house is
trash.
And it's exactly, like, from people that I know who do have kids, they describe it as well, like, you can't clean up after your kid because there is no end to the tornado that slowly... It's just like they cycle around the house
15
slowly.
Of them, and they don't live in a house. They live in a penthouse apartment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're all used to, being racers, and so they just, like, trash the place.
I like how one of them, like, was, like, scooting around on one of the chairs.
Yeah.
Being pushed by the other.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and then poor Felix.
Why does your TV only have one channel?
It is a painting.
And then Felix, he goes to Tappers for the first time ever. And he got tipsy. Did you see that? He was tipsy off of a root beer.
Well, because they couldn't have real alcohol.
Yeah, but it's just like, I just love it. He's like, well, I drink now.
Not before today, by golly.
The first sip he took, he's like, this is disgusting.
And then he just
chug-a-lug.
Oh, this is so much stress.
Uh-huh. Honestly, I just want them to do like a short or something that's just their adventures in parenting. Because I just want more Calhoun and Felix.
They were, because of their big presence in the first movie, and I get it, they wanted to focus on the internet characters, Shank, yes, the loot finder guy.
Yeah, and...
Which he has a name at some point. They introduce him.
You just said her name and I totally...
Spammer or something spammy.
What? I keep forgetting her name is Yes.
Spamly.
Spamly.
Yes.
Because it's like Stanley, but Spamly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and yes. Yes.
Shank, yes. I was like, I thought you were saying like Shank, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of Shank. Yes. Who is the name of the character?
Yes had a larger role in the film than I initially thought, based off the trailer.
I thought she was going to be the villain, so I expected her to have more, but then she wasn't, and she was really enjoyable.
Yeah, it was nice that...
Honestly, both Shank and Yes, I thought would have bigger roles based on the trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they were both, I don't want to say it bothered me, but it just felt a little weird that, like...
They were so
They were
accommodating.
immediately accommodating. Like, the moment she hears the story from Ralph of when he's bawling and crying, she's like, "It's a good job for sharing your emotions and being so vulnerable for me, and also we'll help you."
I mean,
I can
him
understand
being vulnerable is fine. It's just the
I
immediate,
feel like
we'll help you.
Yeah.
Well, I can kind of see it because I feel like that is, like Vanellope, I feel like that was the first time in a very, very long time that Shank had any sort of excitement or competition.
Right.
I think if they had played that up a little bit more, I could see why she wants to help her. If the girl is happy, then the girl will come back and play more with me. I'll have more fun.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, the players don't even get to race Shank at all, it seems. Except during, like, the end mission one of the missions that we saw.
Yeah, I really just think that like, Shank and Yes are kind of like, they're really cool designed characters. They've got neat personalities, but they're kind of wasted potential in this movie.
Yeah.
They don't leave enough of a mark. There's definitely like ways that there could have been like more character motivation shown, but it's not really there. Which, like, it's fine. The movie wants to be about Vanellope and Ralph's relationship, but
like a short one-liner here, like, because like Shank did mention like you're a pretty good racer kid or something like that at the one point, and I'm like, okay, so to me that's what made her think like, okay, so she's got like respect for Vanellope as a racer, and she wants to race her again. And so I was like, okay, so that's kind of maybe her motivation. But I was like, Yes doesn't have much of a motivation other than if you think more abstractly in the fact that if Ralph gets more views, her website gets more views,
right,
which is better for her.
Yeah.
And to me, other than that, but they don't even really touch on that. She just immediately is like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, let's do it.
I love the YouTube jokes. I mean, it's BuzzTube or whatever, but it's YouTube jokes. Essentially you got like millions of views. You got $47.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels real.
That's real. Well, and the whole...
the comment section.
Yeah, Ralph goes into the comment
Don't read the comments.
section.
First rule of the internet.
Which, I appreciate that scene, but also, like, there's not a whole lot of real narrative reason for that scene to be in there.
It just makes me sad, and they don't even make him feel better or anything. Like, she literally just comes in there and she's like, there are people who... She's like, yeah, a lot of the internet's a nice place, but there are people who it brings out the worst in them. And there's no, like, comforting, like, yeah, not everybody needs to like you. But no, he's just like, I've been a villain before, and he wipes away the tears and leaves. And it's
the purpose of the scene is that it's, like, it's supposed to be cementing the fact that Ralph needs Vanellope.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, well, I don't really care what these people think so long as I've got Vanellope. And now he's about to lose her. Like, that's why that scene is there. And it's also there just to be, like, commentary about how awful YouTube comments are. Which like,
is a good, like,
but
a
also,
good introduction to, like, people who don't internet.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. But also, I don't know. It didn't leave as strong of an impact as it could have, and that's because I don't feel like
it did anything to the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was I don't want to call it was basically like a throwaway. And I feel like
set
if there
up
had been...
to the third act's conflict.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Which, personally, like, it was an okay conflict, but honestly, like, the first movie, I'm not gonna lie, like, the first time I saw it made me cry. I was so sad because I felt so attached to, like, Ralph and Vanellope that I was so sure that he was, like, I was like, obviously it's a movie, it's gonna have a happy ending. It's a Disney movie, it's gonna have a good ending. But I was, like, so certain in my heart that he was gonna die when he's plummeting towards the volcano. And he's chanting his
just
mantra.
This most recent time, too.
And I was like, in this one, like every time I watch that scene, it makes me sad because they played it so well. But there wasn't
nothing
that
like
moment
that in this movie.
in that. And this is that's kind of something I was really looking forward to. Is there wasn't like a moment. There's no.
Well, for me, the original Wreck-It Ralph has multiple moments like that. When Ralph first destroys her cart. Like,
there are so many
that's so brutal. And then...
everyone escaping except Vanellope can't.
Yeah, that's brutal. Just rip my heart out. And then, and then him having a Superman moment.
Yeah, basically coming down being like, you know, and him chanting the villain mantra, like, I'm bad and that's
good.
That's good.
Yeah.
And stuff. And I was like, oh, that is heartbreaking.
I'm not good, but that's not bad.
Yeah. And they didn't really play off of anything like that in the second movie, and I felt like that was really lacking because even the villain, the defeat of the villain wasn't even very. It didn't feel.
It's just kind of like, oh, okay, it's done now.
Yeah, well, and I gotta say too that they try to make Ralph the multiple Ralphs creepy, but after seeing King Candy again,
that was nothing.
Nowhere close. King Candy's freaking creepy. When his bug form.
Oh yes, he is.
Oh yeah.
Total creep.
Terrifying.
The only thing I don't like about the defeat of Virus, King Kong, Wreck-It Ralph is you can't beat a virus with sentiment.
They set it up though because they say they have a Nosmore be like, well, you have two options. You can either defeat it with therapy.
But that seems
unrealistic.
They said that we can give every clone therapy. And I was like, okay.
Or you need to push it through the virus wall.
Because the virus works on insecurity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They set up that's...
That was what I was going to talk about earlier. It's weird that the insecurity virus actually goes off of actual insecurity and not insecurities in the program.
The programming insecurities.
I mean, it did that in Slaughter Race because Vanellope was an insecurity.
And I thought that was brilliant.
Insecurity.
But then when it scanned Ralph, I was like, wait, actual insecurity works?
And it was 100% there. Vanellope was only 30% insecure.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's because you're led to think it's based off of her glitchiness, but no, it actually is. It was off of her emotional insecurity because she's like, oh God, I'm not talking to Ralph, my best friend, and I feel really bad about this. Mm-hmm. And that was the insecurity that the robot got, which is dumb.
Although I will say
the emotional insecurity on the stupid bug.
I will say they did set it up long in advance because the entire early part of the movie, every time that she was emotional, she was extra glitchy. So they did set it up in the fact that she was emotional during that time. Mm-hmm. And that's what made she got a little bit glitchy, and she's like, no, calm down, because she was glitching a little bit and right as he scanned her. So I think that that's what he duplicated specifically, is the fact that her emotional connection to the glitching.
Yeah.
Which to me, I don't understand how that turned into giant King Kong Ralph guy. I can connect it to see a really clingy Ralph, but I can't see it as because the buildings just started glitching like Vanellope did in Slaughter Race.
Who knows?
Especially since now they've got Vanellope in their hand. Why would not the individual Ralphs be hug?
And be good, yeah.
The video game logic here is a little loosey-goosey.
We're too much of a video game.
Yeah. That and it's one of those things where
they needed some big set piece.
Yeah.
And I let him off the hook a bit. Ralph is based off of Donkey Kong, who's based off of King Kong.
So it's I see what they're going for. They've got to
go with the King Kong building thing. Well, and I also like how it's set up. It's not just a King Kong thing, because the way he goes about it, it's more like he's sitting atop of
his building.
Yeah. Because he sits and he's got Vanellope there, and they have that scene earlier in the film to reflect that, and that's cool. That's smart. I like that, filmmakers.
Also, visuals. Not storytelling, but visual distinction. Mm-hmm. They did a very good job with the random yellow cubes there. Just as a visual distinction between the Ralph monster and real Ralph, him being crushed inside the yellow cube bits.
Oh,
just help him stand out in the actual scene.
Ralphs.
Yeah. It's thank you for doing that, movie makers. You know how it's obviously you guys
know how color works.
It's color theory, and having the yellow glowing bricks around him makes him stand out better against this giant sea of awful red. Mm-hmm. And they do the same thing for Vanellope, her standing on a cube as well.
Yeah.
Another thing, I'm glad, both sad and glad that the princesses weren't just the
cameo
in the lounge.
Yeah, I loved
cameo.
I loved that
the fact
scene.
that they were there
at the end as well.
They worked together in their own individual ways, which was really cool.
They had to figure out a way for every single freaking...
And
that was probably my favorite part of the whole princess bit.
The whole way that they did it.
Yeah.
I just loved it. And I specifically loved how they accented each single person's power, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, and also gave them musical cues from their own movies, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They work together and save Ralph at the end.
Yeah.
If you're not going to see the movie for some reason, go see the movie.
Yeah, it was really good.
After the Loot Finder guy, 11th hour, Loot Finder's family, here to save the day and rescue Ralph.
I was like, that's not going to work. Shoom! Yes, it didn't work.
I was like, wait, because I was thinking, I was like, he's going to land on the cart and the cart's going to fall too. And then he just falls to the bottom of the car because it's a cheap car.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness,
good.
the fact that Spamley has more development than Yes and
Well,
what's her name?
Ralph is the only guy working on his website at this point, basically.
Yeah, you're right, actually. He had no traffic whatsoever.
He had nothing.
He was one pop-up.
Because
At
he was
eBay.
his own
Family
pop-up.
MVP.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last minute thoughts?
I just want to reiterate, I thought this was a much better sequel than Incredibles 2. And that I enjoyed this film, but it's nowhere as strong as the original movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I'd
see
still say it's
myself-
one of the strongest films of the year. One of the strongest films of the year.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, we'll talk about it on our wrap-up whenever we get
Well,
to
I
that.
think we only have one more movie to go
Yes.
before we do the wrap-up. Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man's gonna be so... It's gonna be so entertaining!
I want it for the visual appeal, if nothing else.
Oh my goodness. But just the fact that I am a Spider-Man comic book nerd makes it even better. Even if I have lost touch with
Recent times?
recent times.
Okay.
And the only Marvel stuff I get in more is the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, same.
I mean, that was really our only stuff to begin with.
Yeah,
We've never been into the comic books.
it's true.
But anyway, I think that's all for this review.
Yeah.
The movie was good. Go see it. Like, it's well worth whatever your admission price is.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
nitpicked a lot, but
I
mean-
will say one thing. Just like any other movie in this day and age, I don't think the 3D would work for it. So I would not advise seeing it in 3D.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not
I
worth the
forgot that
gimmick.
they tried to...
I mean, yes, it's colorful enough for the 3D to work for most of the movie.
I feel like the
But at the
3D
same
would distract
time-
from a lot of the background Easter eggs. Like it'd be harder to see all of those.
Parse it all.
Also, stay through the whole credits.
Oh yeah.
For a
Don't be like
very
me and
good-
leave.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
a very good Frozen 2 trailer. Uh-huh.
Okay, that before that, the mid-credit bit,
Oh yeah.
the fact that they's like, I like the movie, but they didn't show one scene that was in the trailer in the movie. So, and like,
And the people that have legitimate complaints about that, and they're just
Yeah.
like, well, fine, here it is.
And they showed the scene. Because I feel like, because you mentioned this
There's
in
actually
the theater,
another trailer
is that it was
scene that wasn't in the
probably
movie.
a deleted scene that they had already put all the work into, and they were like, crap, we already made a trailer of this. Throw it in at the end.
Yeah, that's my. I'm curious to know if that's why they put it as a mid-credit scene, is because they used it in a trailer, and then they ended up cutting the scene, and then they're like, well, crap, this was kind of a big thing when it came out, so we
People
and
reacted
considering-
strongly to this.
And considering how big of a thing it was, and we're making an internet movie, we should probably acknowledge that in some way.
Yeah, that and the fact that, well, honestly, it was already done. The whole scene was animated, voice acted. It was a finished product, and at that point, they're just losing that time and the money spent towards that scene if they don't include it.
Yeah.
And just being
Besides,
a
it's really
stinger.
funny and-
Yeah, a stinger scene is not.
too
you
bad.
know, yeah.
But again, we'll let you take it away since it's your review.
Oh, well, I mean, that's it.
No, he meant to end it. He meant to end
Yeah,
it.
that's it. We don't really have real endings to
Okay.
these.
I'm waving to you guys. You can't see it. But bye.
Bye-bye!
It was a
everyone.
pleasure to be here. I hope we might be back.
Yeah, be sure to check out links in the description and all that. And see you guys back here for
Spider-Man.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.